And so, can you share, you had a special calling on your life, a time when you went to Bible college?
Yes, that's true. David had a business, and we used to live in Glen Iris, and the business was quite successful. But when he came to the Lord, he realised that he'd lived an empty life, and he began to feel this call of God on him. So before 2 years were up, by that time we'd sold our house and we'd gone to Bible college. In fact, we just fixed up our house in Glen Iris. We just totally renovated it and made it beautiful. I was sitting there admiring it and saying to the Lord, how wonderful is this? And I heard him say, would you give this up for me? And I said, yes, but let me keep the dresser. And so I heard him say, done. And I've still got the dresser. And David came home about 2 or 3 days later and told me that he wanted to go to Bible college. And I already knew because the Lord had already told me. Mm-hmm. So that was resolved. And so off we went. We sold our house, which sold miraculously during a slump, and got more money than we were even expecting. And we had already put money down on a house up there, so we were like really being tested in our faith, but the Lord did it all. And we got that house, we sold this one, and off we went. We went to Bible college, and we were in a way like Abraham. We didn't know where we were going, and we just had a new baby, Emily, and the 2 other girls. And for me, one of the biggest tests of my faith was that we had to take our kids out of very good schools. Lisa was in Loreto in Toorak, and she was in the special gifted children's class. And Gina would have been headed the same way. And all they had in Katoomba was a very run-down high school. So I had to trust the Lord completely with my children's future, because to do what we did with them really shocked and horrified our family, that we would take them out of good schools and put them into state schools. It was like beyond the pale. And that I felt like the Lord say, well, you're trusting me, I'll look after them. And Lisa became top of the state in 2 of her subjects, so she was vindicated. She's now a well-known barrister. So God kept his hand on them. And when we were at Bible college, we were there for 4 years, and we were exposed to so much of the Lord, so much wonderful people who knew the Lord and loved the Lord. And we learned so much of his ways, and he used to lead us and guide us in so many ways, and he provided for us quite miraculously the way he looked after David and the way he got business for him. And then we didn't know where we were going to go. We thought we were going to go to Japan as missionaries. David was going down to Sydney learning Japanese, but he wasn't very successful at learning it. And slowly we began to realise, well, no, we're not going to Japan. We just got a love for the Japanese, but we're not going to be Japanese missionaries. So we were really praying about where to go. And in the meantime, David came back to Richmond to do his internship, still not thinking we were coming back to Melbourne. And then he rang Pastor Hills one day, and Pastor Hills said, look, I've got 2 places in Melbourne that need churches pioneered. One is Elstonwick and one is Keilor. And I remember saying, well, it's got to be Elstonwick, because God wouldn't expect us to go to Keilor. And I heard him say, wouldn't I? So, and the same night we ran into this fellow in the town, and we said, we think we're going to Keilor. And he goes, yes, that's in the Bible. And he showed us where David's called to Keilor. Mm. And so that sort of cemented it. So we really didn't know anything about that side of Melbourne at all. We'd never been to the western suburbs except to go to the airport. It was like a brand new town for us, a different town altogether, a different outlook, a different scene completely. But we said, all right, Lord, we'll go. And so we came down to Melbourne, We knew nobody, we didn't know one person on that side of town. We stayed in a caravan park and looked for a place and found a place, and we decided we'll start the church, which is now called Enjoy Church, which is one of the biggest churches in Melbourne,
Yes.
thank the Lord. And so we pioneered that church, and the Lord gave us a vision for Melbourne to the degree that he said this is, he used to speak to us about Smith Wigglesworth, saying that Melbourne was going to be used in the end times and the glory of the Lord was going to fall down. He showed us Good News Hall, where all the miracles used to happen, and Smith Wigglesworth used to come there. He showed us all the wells that had been dug there by the pioneers in the past, and he spoke of the way that these wells were going to be opened again.
Hallelujah.
He showed us that this city was going to be filled with spirit-filled people and spirit-filled churches. And when we went to the west, there wasn't, I think there was West Side, that was about it, but there was no other spirit-filled big churches over there. And we went in cold, and we just prayed and prayed and prayed. And thank the Lord, he brought spirit-filled people around us to help us, like Rab Miller here, and many others. Their prayers. I used to come into I used to have a ladies' meeting every Thursday, and the glory of the Lord would fill that place. And you would feel the strength that came from being in the glory, the mighty, mighty strength coming from people who came from all over the place just to worship the Lord, just to be in the glory, just for him to be glorified. And they didn't all join our church, but they came and they made a big difference to the place. And we knew that Melbourne was going to be transformed